to everyone. Um, Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whichever the time zone you're joining in from. Thank you for being here today. Welcome to Tech Talks, our ongoing webinar series where we explore the latest trends, technology shaping the future of software development. My name is Dinesh, and I'm the Director of IT Services and Delivery at Tech, where I have been had the pleasure of working with a fantastic team for the last 6 years and had the privilege on working with multiple clients from various walks of lives and different domains like healthcare, fintech, construction tech, e-commerce, and few other. Uh, Today, we'll be diving into LangChain, a very versatile framework. We will explore its key features, components, and significant role it plays in the AI-powered application development space. To guide us through this informative session, I would like to introduce our speaker, Rajesh Panda, technical architect and expert in AI. He has been in the forefront leading development and tech grid, working with various cutting edge technologies, be it AI, blockchain, AR, and VR. Uh, Before we begin, one last note. If you have any questions, any comments, please do post it in the comments or in the chat. We will get to them at the tail end of the session. Okay, and with that, I will hand it over to Rajesh Panda to take us through today's session. Rajesh, over to you.
Thanks, Dinesh. And thanks to everyone for joining us here on LinkedIn Live. So we are excited to have you here for this session, and uh, we would like to present one of the most exciting developments in the AI world, LangChain. Right. So let me just share my screen. So I have a very simple deck prepared for this. Let me know if you guys can see my screen, Dinesh.
Not yet. Yes, I can see it now. You're good to go.
Okay. So let's begin with what exactly is LangChain, right? So LangChain is an open source framework that helps developers build AI applications, AI-powered applications, which are essentially powered by large language models like GPT or Claude or Gemini, right? I'm sure everyone attending this webinar must have heard of these terms. So it's designed to facilitate the integration of large language models into various use cases, offering different tools and abstractions, retrievers, right, to work with the models more effectively. So let's dive into the features of LangChain, right? One of the key features of LangChain would be the modularity of it, right? It allows the developers to customize and extend the existing framework to suit their application needs. So for example, LLM is just a piece of the puzzle, right? So you have retrievers, you have vector stores, you have prompts, you have agents, right? So LangChain provides you with these building blocks that you would need, right? And whether you're building a chatbot or a knowledge management system, right, or complex data pipelines, LangChain provides you with those building blocks. Another feature that stands out is the seamless integration, right, which is you can essentially have any source, right? It could be like a simple API or database, or you may have data lying around in SharePoint or AWS S3 buckets. So it has those document loaders, right? I think we had a couple of them we had to build out, right? But for most of our use cases, there was already a ready-made document loader that we could use. So it has that ability to right, bring in these data sources, and it makes it simpler to incorporate real world data and context into our AI applications. Memory management is another aspect where you can have conversational bots. So one important aspect of any conversational bot, right, is to have the ability to understand the context and take it forward, right? Keep building on it as the conversation goes on. So yeah, so LangChain agents. So that's what the memory aspect of it, right? It provides you with that seamless context building, right, and taking it forward. Now, agents are kind of another important tool, right, that I like to use. So that's where the more freedom that we get as developers is uh, to make those decisions and build out custom sequences of operations. We use various tools and resources dynamically based on the context and the input that these chains receive. So yeah, this is like kind of an advanced topic, but just felt like touching on it to like, because the more sophisticated AI applications are driven by like multi-step reasonings or actions which the agents bring in. And LangChain is pretty popular, right? The last point that I have here is extensive documentation and examples. So it's pretty popular amongst the developers. And because of various integrations which are available out of the box and the kind of support that you get, right, in LangChain community. So it's one of the best orchestration frameworks available out there. Let's move over to the next slide. If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to post it, right? We're happy to take those questions, right? But since we're talking about conversational AI, right? I just wanted to briefly touch upon this topic that conversational AI are basically technologies that help to understand, process, and respond in human language, right? So it can be both spoken as well as written forms of communication. These systems are NLPs, machine learning, and sometimes even more advanced neural networks to simulate uh, conversations. Uh, so uh, so let's just go over the applications that like we have done right in the past, and these are some of the few just very high level points that we would like to discuss. One of the most common application is a chatbot. These are automated systems designed to simulate the conversation with human users, particularly over the internet. So I'll give you a use case. So chatbots are widely used in customer support, where they can handle basic inquiries, process transactions, and give that support 24 by 7. It's great in terms of improving the customer satisfaction and operational costs. Another application would be virtual assistant. So everyone must have used Siri or Alexa or Google Assistant, right, at some point. LangChain is something similar in terms of we can, or let's say AI chatbot, right? When implemented, it could assist users with tasks such as setting reminders or sending messages, controlling smart home devices, right? So it brings about another layer of smartness to these devices or these tools that you regularly use. And virtual assistants are becoming like more integrated in our daily lives, helping us manage tasks more efficiently and providing quick access to information. And same goes with interactive voice response. I think interactive voice responses or IVR systems are kind of a step above the chatbots, where uh, not only you need to process it, also you need to make it quick, right? You need to process it fast and come out with the response to keep uh, the voice call going, right? So that's another application of it. I'll give an example from the healthcare domain that we have been implementing this particular these kind of products in. So it could be used to create virtual health assistants, right? That provide medical advice, remind patients, summarization of reports, schedule appointments, right? So these are the various applications that we see when working with LLMs. Now, talking about the current challenges, right, or the 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 issues that we have, right, while implementing, and I'm sure everyone must have faced these, is when implementing AI chatbot or virtual assistant, the biggest problem is understanding the context and intent. When I say context, human language is very complex, right? For example, if you take the word bank, now bank could mean a financial institution, it could be a side of a river, or it could be a type of a basketball shot, right? So getting that context and understanding it, the intent behind it, right? I think that's where AI needs to do better. So initially I talked about memory, right? In terms of bringing that or building that context forward. That's where LangChain makes it very easy. We have a couple of demos, right? Towards the end of this webinar, we'll share that how easy it is to build a conversational bot with LangChain. But that's one of the major challenges, understanding context and intent. And then there are multi-turn conversations, right? You need to continue, or you need to maintain that coherence in multi-turn conversations. As conversations are becoming more and more complex, AI systems often struggle to keep track of previous interactions and respond they have a problem in responding appropriately. Impact of it would be people, like, I think the user frustration is the major impact, right? In terms of AI fails, you just don't get that right information, right? Even though you're trying to communicate it organically, that organic bit is missing, and that's where the frustration kicks in. All of us must have heard about cases where users are giving 2 + 3 = 5, and that they are repeatedly hammering that, they're forcing that input. So that's where bias and fairness comes into the picture, because any LLM or any model is as accurate as the data that it's trained on. So this is a significant concern in let's say in law enforcement or recruitment kind of domains, where these are sensitive applications. So if there's a bias or there's an unfair response, that could have some long-lasting effects. One way that LangChain solves this is using a multi-query model, right? So even though you have a query, you tend to have a multi-query model where you create variations of the same question with the given context. So it runs different chains simultaneously, and you get the best result out of it. So bad, yeah. And security, right? So security is kind of the most asked question, right? Whenever we are building or whenever we are brainstorming AI applications with our clients, all of them are asking for a solution which can be made secure, or it can be privatized. So OpenAI or Gemini or Claude, all these LLM models are publicly hosted, right? You have an API key and you go ahead and you make a call outside your environment, and then you get a response. So in doing so, you need to send that context out, right? So that's where attempts are being made to privatize or privately host LLM solutions. So that's the side effect of that is cost. You need to have some massive GPUs at your disposal. So that's one thing that we could do. Also, we could encrypt the data, or we could have more stringent data protection regulations to safeguard user information. So these are some of the current challenges that we have seen while working with LangChain or AI solutions. Right? And LangChain kind of resolves or provides us some of these challenges, and we'll cover that, like how it does that in the demos. I'll move on to the next slide. Right. So when we talk about LangChain, so LangChain, the word chain, right, is kind of very much in the name. So we'll start with chains. So chain is kind of the sequence of operations or steps that input, right? Like in terms to process that input, those are steps that it will take to come out with the final outcome. So chains can include not just LLMs, right? You could have retrievers or transformations or any agents that are part of decision making. So all the other pieces kind of fit into the chains. That's where the true power of LangChain, lies. Is it can build those chains, you can customize those chains to suit your need, and then you get your final output, or you get your series of next things to do, right, based on the outcome that you get. Then my bad. Yeah, the scroll is kind of fidgety here. Yeah. The second part here that we have is document loaders. Now, document loaders are something that we talked in at the beginning of the meeting. It helps you in loading your data into a vector store, right? Or it helps you in getting that data into a form that LangChain could understand. Vector stores are, once you have the data, you need to vectorize that information, right? And make it into vectors, and so that you can store it somewhere that it can be matched or searched through when there's an actual query. Then you have prompts. So we have generally used prompts to pass on the context and set some guardrails, right? So that the information does not come from outside. Like make sure that it stays within the context that we are providing. So that's where we have been using prompts for. Agents are kind of the the ability to take those decisions, right, on the fly. Or let's say if you are building a chain, you could bring in an agent depending on whatever the outcome has been. And LLMs are kind of the flavor that everyone knows. These are engines that drive the ability to understand and generate human-like context. And these language models are trained on vast data, right? So it's not something that you and I could just start and make it at our home or office. It really needs an effort to train that much of data. So luckily, we have some foundational models which are available out of the box, and that's what hosting it privately, like in a private hosting, right, environment, privately hosted environment, it makes it easier for those kind of scenarios. Right. So we'll move on to the next thing. Right. So whenever we are building advanced AI with LangChain, for most of the developers, one of the most exciting use of LangChain is to build an advanced chatbot, right? So these are not just simple chatbots that respond to basic queries. It could handle complex conversations in multiple languages. It could remember your user preferences if needed. It can retrieve the data wherever you're looking for. It can make an API call. All right. So that's what we do. And for multi-chain conversations, as I was saying earlier, LangChain's memory component allows chatbots to maintain context across multiple interactions, making conversation feel more natural and engaging. Then we have data retrieval. Data retrieval is a piece where you send a query and we convert that query into a vector, and then we match that vector with other vectors that we have already preloaded into the database. Let's say you have a document, you load the document, right, and then you vectorize it, and then you store it in a vector store. So I'll show you a sample of what a vector looks like while showing the demo. But data retrieval is integrating external APIs or database, right? These chatbots can pull in real-time information, which is useful, and they can set that context with updated responses. And we can build custom workflows, as I was saying, like with the chains. We can create sophisticated workflows that guide users through multi-step processes. It could be troubleshooting, or it could be making a smart purchase, right? So those are the custom workflows that we have been doing. So yeah, let's jump into some demos that I have prepared, or I'll just do the initial introduction, and then we'll just go through some already prepared scripts. Yeah, let me know if my screen is visible. I've reshared the VS Code.
We can see the VS Code.
Okay, cool. So these are some already prepared like some scripts that I have to showcase different abilities, but we'll just have a working session on how easy is it to build a simple, to get a simple response, right, from LLM solution, AI solution. So let's call it as basic LLM integration. So first thing that I will do is I'll go ahead and I'll load the environment. I have an environment file here where I have stored all the keys and information, right, from where to load files, and also I'll just go ahead and I'll load that .env file. Right. And after that, we'll just introduce our LLM model here, which will be, we'll use chat OpenAI, and we'll use the like the model GPT-4 here. Do I have right? The next thing that we'll build here is a prompt template. Prompt template, we'll just decide on something later. And to load that prompt template into a prompt, we'll use a prompt template loader, which is prompt prompt template. All right, let me just check my notes. Prompt template. So we'll just add this here. LangChain dot prompts, I believe. Import template, right? So this is a method that's already available with it. So we'll just pass this prompt template here inside. So after the prompt is set, all we need to do, like to run a basic chain, is build a chain here using LLM chain. LLM chain, I believe, comes from chain dot LLM. So I have already created this virtual environment and I've loaded this file. So you must be wondering, like, where are this LangChain and all, right, are coming from? So we will share the requirements .txt along with this project, right, when we publish this. And you could easily see like what are the libraries that we have used. So for the like sake of for the benefit of time, I'm just keeping it very short. Here. So we'll just load that LLM chain here. Now, what LLM chain takes here is LLM to take the LLM and it will take the chain. Oh, sorry, it will take the prompt. My bad. Prompt. Now we'll just declare a response here. Chain dot invoke. Now this is where we would need to pass on what the prompt template needs and what are the parameters that we need here. So we could give something like let's just see, translate the following to let's say I'll give a language specifier here, and then this is the text that I want to convert to. Right? You can change these names if you want. Let's name it as info. So when I'm invoking the chain, I just need to make sure I'm passing those parameters, right? Language. Let's make it as, let's say I'll convert everything to Spanish, and input would be, let's just get an input from the user. We'll type in this here. Just put the quotes and just put input here. Okay, so once the response comes in, we'll just print this response here. So response, we'll just take the text part of it. Let me see if we can run this. We'll use a Python debugger down here. Let's see. Right, so we'll just like, hi, welcome to my webinar. So it takes that information, it creates that prompt, right? And it just translates it. So this is a very real time and very fast, effective application where you could just take any language, right? You can provide an input and you can convert to another language here, right? So in 22 lines or less, right? And we could create a effective translation using OpenAI here. Now, some of the other instances that I would like to go through is, so I was talking about loading the data into vector databases. So what we are essentially doing is we are taking a PDF here. I'll just show you the PDF. So this is a BMJ journal, right? A healthcare journal that I found. Uh, and I already uploaded this document to my document loader, and I was able to convert that into I was able to upload this into a vector database after embedding the documents and stuff. So let me just show you how exactly embedding embedded data looks like. So this is a very sample, like a very example of how an embedded vector looks like here. So all these data points, right? So think of it as in a multi-dimensional uh, vector space where, depending on the context, each word or each phrase is assigned a vector value. So when we send a query, right? For example, the query that I had, hi, welcome to, or not this, we'll go through that in the next one. So it was able to match those things in this vector space, and it could find like what are the associated or neighboring vectors that we have, right? And those are the ones which will be picked, and that will set our context. So this is a very simple like a very small document, but we have had cases where we had to process, let's say, 800 or 2500, right, 2500 page long document. So it's not possible for us to just send that document straight away into a LLM model and do that. So we had to do that context matching, context search, find the relevant document, and then come out with like what we will set the relevance there, and then we'll send our query in to LLMs. Let me just go back to the application, right? So the next thing, okay, so this is what I was talking about. So the document that I have shared, right, the medical one here, this is the same document that I would be working on in this one. So this is a very, very simple prompt template where we are setting the boundaries or the guardrails here. Use only the following pieces of context to answer the question, and do not get any information from outside the source. And reply with not found. So this is a very simple implementation of a prompt template where you're putting those guardrails into the prompt itself. And this multi retriever, so we set the vector database, we create a retriever to get the data out of it, and then we are kind of enhancing that, or kind of yes, enhancing is the right word, that retriever into a multi-query retriever, which essentially means that whatever query that I'm sending in, it creates variations of those queries. So let's say it creates 3 variations. All those 3 variations would be searched in that vector space, and then we get more matches or more context-driven matches there. Again, same thing, we are giving a chain, and we are asking it. So we are putting the context here, right? So once we get the document, we are saying that, hey, let's just join everything into a context, and then we are passing that context into our queries. Let me just run this one now. So if you see, we can search from this document. So I'll search for something that I've already looked for here. Right. So when was this study conducted, for example? So we know that the answer should be March 2019-23. So let's just try that out, and let's see if my retriever is able to find that or not. Like the study conducted. So it sends that it's trying to retrieve it, right? If you see multi-retriever get relevant documents, and it was able to come back with it just does not give me this text, right? If you see, it just does not pick this text and throw at me. It actually creates a sentence out of it, right? The study was conducted from so and so. So we can ask any number of questions, right, depending on whatever data that we get. So since it's a very small document, there's a good chance that or there could be some contradictory information in the document itself. So the accuracy is kind of the thing to note here. So some things will be if there are factual things that you're asking, definitely you'd get better results here. Right. And the last demo that I have here is to show the memory aspect of it. So here it's the same thing all over again. We are loading the LLM and we're creating a conversational memory object. What we're basically doing, and the template that we're going to create, like instead of context, we're saying that we will provide the previous chat history. So we can mix both the concepts, but I just kept it separate to make it easier for our viewers to understand. We create a prompt here. We are passing the LLM. We are giving the prompt. We can disable this if you need, and then we are giving the memory to it, we are passing the memory object to it. Right. Let's just run this one. And yeah, this is the last demo. So we'll go back to the presentation after this. But yeah, so I'll just start with this. Like, hi, who are you? Let me just bring this up. Right. So it does respond like, hey, I'm a chatbot to assist and converse with humans. How can I help you today? Tell me about football. So this is just a simple query that I'm showing, but we'll come back to like how the conversation would be driven, right? How the memory aspect of it, right? So if I just play like how many players are there? I believe they have already mentioned that, or let's just use something. Okay, what was my first question? See, so yeah, your first question was, hi, who are you? So it exactly knew like what was the first question. So this was the context that it had in the memory. So it was able to go through that and understand like what exactly I'm talking about. So I could have asked any question like about football as well, right? Like how many referees are there, something. So it would know that we are talking about football here. Yeah. So I'll go back to the presentation. Right. So that was for developers. So any questions from developers, Dinesh, that we are seeing?
Not right now. We don't have any questions at this point of time. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the strategic implications, right, for this. Now, for C-level executive, the decision to invest in LangChain is more than just technology, right? It's about driving business outcomes. Implementing LangChain can significantly enhance their customer engagement. They can streamline operations, and yeah, possibly open up new revenue streams. So talking about enhanced customer experience, advanced chatbots and or virtual assistants powered by LangChain can provide personalized and timely support to higher customer satisfaction retention. It increases the operational efficiency, automating routine tasks such as customer inquiries or generating reports or data retrieval reduces the workload on human staff, so leading to cost saving in terms of both employees and business, and employees can focus on more higher value tasks. And another impact would be the new revenue opportunities, ability to deploy intelligent conversational interfaces across multiple channels such as websites, mobile apps can capture new customer segments and increase sales.
So, RP, I do have one question in the chat on
Mm-hmm.
the strategic implications, right? Like, how customizable is LangChain for specific business needs, or there are any domain-specific applications that this is uh, relevant to?
Right. So LangChain primarily works through large language models, right? I think that's the and that's where the chain ends primarily, right? In most of the cases. So anywhere we have where you want to build chatbots or IVR solutions or knowledge management system, let's say you have like a large document, 3,000 page large document, right? And each business or a report that you want to understand, right, quickly, or you want to summarize something for your, let's say, end client. So that's where the knowledge management comes into picture. So we had like a use case where we had a lot of files sitting in SharePoint, where the client had like a lot of knowledge like captured or stored in SharePoint, and each SharePoint file had its own permissions and roles, right, for the different users that were part of that tenant. So what we were able to do was it was just not a question of summarizing the documents or asking questions, right, topic related or match finding the right document. It was more kind of also implementing the security aspects of it. So if I don't have access to a document, I should not have uh, access to the content of the document as well, right? So when the summarization or the question answers are working. So LLM itself is a piece of the puzzle, right? So any business where you want to automate something, or there's a lot of text-driven information that needs to be exchanged, right, or generated. Such businesses could be so healthcare. We could use in fintech. We can use in education. We could, yeah, I think those are the primary targets. I mean, businesses that we are currently working on. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential in terms of where to use and increase that engagement, right? Your employee engagement or your end user client engagement. You could boost that with that.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, I'll move on to the final bets. Right. So ROI considerations would be like I think with all of these business impact and right, all these changes that would bring some kind of cost savings as well by automating like customer service interactions. I mean, you stop having large support teams, right? You could just employ like a couple of chatbots to just do that basic initial interaction. And then there is revenue growth, like a chance to grow your revenue. Personalized or efficient customer interactions can lead to higher conversion rates or higher retention in e-commerce or subscription-based services. You can always scale this up. We can handle multiple, like LangChain. We have seen like LangChain is very lightweight, right, when it comes to running on the systems. So yeah, you can always scale this up if there is a requirement where you need to like build this like and make it available for larger masses there. So it's very easy and very efficiently done. Now, long-term benefits that we have seen would be like you future-proof your business, right? As AI continues to evolve, companies are eager to adopt frameworks like LangChain, and those companies will be better positioned, in my opinion, to new technologies or market demands. So this future proofing ensures that business remains competitive and yeah, in an increasingly digital landscape. You build a competitive edge here in markets where customer experience is the key differentiator. So you can give your business a competitive edge by enabling more personalized or responsive interactions, right? Uh, so LangChain's flexibility to grow, it allows rapid experimentation. So as I was saying, this is like it provides you with the building blocks, and those blocks are plug and play kind. So you could, if you don't like a particular LLM, you can always switch it with another LLM solution, which it could be your own, or it could be another third-party application. Or if you don't like a particular embedder, like we were using OpenAI embeddings, we have used Google embeddings in the past. We have used Hugging Face transformers, right? Sentence transformers in the past. So it's very plug and play. It gives you that ability that for your developers to experiment, as well as it enables them to focus on more engaging needs of the application and make that switch if there is a if there's a requirement or if there's a demand for it. You can always make a switch and you can build on top of existing solutions, and the community is always there to answer the questions as well. And there's a typo here, my bad. But yeah, so strategic alignment for C-level executives is important to align capabilities with broader business strategies. So LangChain or AI solution needs to be part of the solution. It itself is not the solution, but you can always bring in more use cases into it where LangChain could act as a orchestrated, it could provide that engine that you need for the AI related tasks. So yeah, you could. So yeah, as I was saying, right, like with broader business strategies, you need to innovate those strategies and make it possible, make bring in that AI component into it, right? So yeah, I think yeah, that's pretty much it for the presentation. Now, if there are any questions, I would be happy to take those. And yeah.
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions. I think one to begin with, a
Mm-hmm.
question from Karan.
Mm-hmm.
Rajesh, could you please elaborate on the security aspect of the use case?
Right. So security aspect of the use case, as in, do you have anything more there?
Don't. I'm guessing it's
Okay,
the
so
document
if I
summarization.
understand about the security aspect that we were like, whichever one was covering in this webinar, yeah. So as most of the clients are looking for like self-hosted solutions, right? So LangChain provides you the ability, if you have, let's say, some foundational models that you have already like worked on, let's say Llama, or there are some a couple of wonderful foundational models available in AWS that you can host there, and it's all privately available. So it gives you that endpoint that is needed. So none of your data gets leaked out to all these vendors like OpenAI or Google. So if you are having those kind of concerns, so instead of uh, writing the code to suit that particular LLM, right, to send that data or to retrieve the document or anything, you could always write a generic code with LangChain, and then you can make that switch. So today you might be starting with, let's say, OpenAI because you need to hit the market rapidly. You could always make that switch. So that's where I think you can enhance the security of your model, because all of this trained data or the context data that you have, it might be precious to you. You don't want that to be leaked out. And yeah, and I think there are some agents there which would get only the um, data from the APIs that you have worked on. Let's say you have some your own APIs. You don't want user data to be leaked out, right? So you can bundle that user APIs along with this privately hosted LLM solution or embedder. It could work together, and you could get that. Uh, I mean, you could get the outcome that you desire. Not sure if that was the question, but that's what I understood. So yeah,
Karan, if
sorry
you
if
have any, yeah, Karan, if you have any follow-up question, please do put
yeah.
it in a comment. And I have one more question here. What are the
Mhm.
alternatives to using LangChain?
Right. So LangChain is kind of, I think we have used uh, another one, which is Aurora, I guess. I think that's the name. We have been spending a lot of time on LangChain, and when we started, we kind of looked into the market. There were not a lot many players there, but LangChain provides you with those building blocks, right? So it's very difficult for, once you get started with it, once the ease of it settles in, it's very difficult to move away from it. But I think there's another alternative that we looked at was Aurora at that point. But if you intend to just go ahead and use the APIs, like if you want to do those RPC calls yourself, you're making your life very difficult if you're trying to hit that market fast. That's what my suggestion would be. But yeah, for orchestration frameworks, I think LangChain is the best one that we have used so far.
Thank you. And I'm trying to see if there are any other questions. Please do put in your questions. I know we are 3 minutes above the time.
Oh, are we?
Please
My
do.
bad.
Yeah. Time flew by. So
Right.
just give a minute to see if the people have any other questions.
Right.
Okay.
So we
I think
also
is
use
Haystack is one of the other
yeah, I think now it's coming to
alternatives.
me. Yes, I think Haystack is it's same as chain. Like the word stack kind of gives away the purpose, but I think that's another one that we tried. I'm sorry, I'm not. I don't recollect like what are the other alternatives, but yeah, I think Haystack is one of the alternatives that we looked at. Yes.
Got it. Okay. I think those are all the questions for now, Rajesh. But thank you so much for putting together a really good demo. Very insightful.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking this time and effort. And rest of all who are in the live, uh, not, I mean, if you wanted to like have any questions, if you want to reach out to collaborate, or if you have any doubts, any questions, anything that you wanted to say, please do reach out. There is an rajesh.panda@techgrid.com, dinesh@techgrid.com. All our emails would be in the post. You can reach us anytime, either through email, either through LinkedIn, either through our TechGrid LinkedIn page. And also, if you have any other topics, if you would like to see in the future webinar sessions, right? Please do suggest something, uh, and we would definitely consider that, making it as a priority for our next webinar sessions. But apart from that, yes, thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks for taking your time. Good 45 minutes out of your day. Thank you, Rajesh, for putting together a nice, insightful demo in the deck. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.